You're listening to Menopause Natural Solutions, episode 72, Self-Care. Welcome to Menopause Natural Solutions, your podcast for all things perimenopause, menopause and beyond. Stay tuned as your host, naturopath Jennifer Harrington, explains how to use natural therapies to find your ultimate health and happiness during your transition. Hi there, it's Jen here. I'm often asked what is the most important action to take to start reducing menopausal symptoms. And I have to tell you, it's self-care. And you may notice that I haven't been around for the last couple of weeks. I actually took 2 weeks off the podcast. And that was because I realized I was having a deficit of self-care. And that I had allowed myself to become busy and to stop looking after myself. So I'm sorry if you missed me. But let me tell you, I have been topping up on self-care big time. I have been out in nature. I took myself away camping and socializing with friends. I took my daughter to a water park and had some fun. So what I really wanted to do was to talk to you about self-care, because I know so many of us have heard all the sayings, like we need to put on our own oxygen mask first before we can help others. But knowing this and doing this are two very different things. And we need to make sure that your cup is full first. If you're honest, is your cup full? Are you busy running around, looking after everybody else, and only leaving the dregs for yourself? Because we need to stop doing that, especially as we're going through the menopausal transition. We really need to love ourselves and nurture ourselves and take care of us, because who's going to look after us if we don't? I'm going to leave that for you to think about for a while. And the other problem is, at this stage of life, many of us have teenagers or elderly parents. So we're so busy running around and doing everything for them. And we often end up being overlooked. So today we're going to have a discussion on self-care. And hopefully when you listen to some of these ideas, some of them are very short. It might be taking 3 deep breaths in the morning before you get out of bed. Hopefully that's something everyone has time to fit into their day. Or it may be a one-off. Maybe you also need to get out into nature and you want to go and have maybe a half day or a full day, or I went away for 3 days. So anyway, we'll get started on some of these and see what you want to do, because self-care comes in many different shapes and sizes. And what works for one doesn't necessarily work for another. All right, guys, so I've broken it down into a couple of different sections. So I'm going to start with physical self-care. Have you been delaying your own healthcare appointments? Are you overdue for a checkup? And this could be, maybe you're overdue for your chiropractor. Maybe you've been putting off seeing your naturopath. Maybe you need a dental checkup. Don't delay your own healthcare appointments because you're prioritizing other people's. You are just as important. What about exercise with your physical self-care? The minimum recommendation is at least 2.5 hours a week, and there should be a cardio, a strength and a stretching component. Are you fitting that into your week? If you're doing more, fantastic. Don't let me slow you down. but that is like the minimum. Do you pamper your body? Do you have massages? Do you take time out for a bubble bath? Or maybe you like facials. How do you show your body you care for it? Are you prioritizing sleep and rest? The occasional late night can be fun, but regularly jam-packing far too much into your day at the expense of sleep won't work for you in the long run. Learn to say no and get to bed. Are you fueling your body with delicious, nutritious foods and adequate hydration? We really need to be prioritizing time for home-cooked meals. Batch cook and freeze meals if necessary. Are you getting your physical needs met? Skin-to-skin contact is essential for health. It can be massages, cuddles, or physical intimacy. Mindful self-care. Are you breathing? I hope you're breathing, but do you stop and take the time to deliberately breathe? Deep, slow diaphragmatical breaths. Many women find that when they slow their breath, their mind follows, and relaxation is easier to achieve. What about meditation? Have you tried meditation? Things like body scans and progressive muscle relaxations are good places to start. And these days there's so many apps, things like Headspace, Calm. There's also online programs, or maybe you even know of some local meditation classes you can attend. But meditation is definitely a very good form of self-care. What are you grateful for? Do you set time aside every day to give thanks and acknowledge all the wonderful people and things that are happening? Do you have creative outlets? Maybe it's time to book that painting class or pottery class or photography, or maybe you're more into music or drama or dance. I find booking classes with set days and set times is the best way to make it happen, because you've put money in the game, you've invested, and you've put it in your calendar, means it's more likely to happen. Are you religious? Is it time to recommit to your faith and find more time for prayer and service? Social self-care is the next area we're going to discuss. And we really, truly are social creatures. And we need to feel loved, appreciated, heard, and valued. I read somewhere that it's ideal to be involved in at least 3 different groups outside of your work and family. So that could be special interest groups or sporting groups or neighbours. And for some women, this is going to be a stretch. And for others, you're going to be involved in so many more than 3. But are you prioritizing time out with your friends? Because we really need to nurture our friendships. Are you looking into ways of expanding your social circle or making new friends? And the opposite of that is actually personal space, self-care. Having general time out. It's just the time and space to be quiet in your own thoughts. Any mums out there would probably remember the desire to have that privacy and time and space to be able to use the bathroom in peace. Maybe you still have that. Or maybe your desire is just for a quiet cup of tea or a cup of coffee, or to be able to go for a stroll or listen to your favourite music. Last but not least is environmental self-care. Your living space creates your vibe at home. Do you need to declutter? Do you need to reorganize your space to be more functional? Do you need help with cleaning? Money spent on a cleaner is a good investment in your mental health, in your relationships, and it also gives you time back for other things. Do you need to spend more time in nature? It may be a barefoot walk on the grass, or admiring some beautiful flowers, or watching the sunset, being by the water, or in a rainforest. Nature time is nurture time, and that's why I took myself off camping, because I wanted to be in nature. I was camping on the beach in a national park, just surrounded by trees. Enough about me. What is it going to take for you to start taking action? If you don't look after yourself, no one else will. It doesn't need to be big. It can be something small. Go through the list. Think about it. What can I add to my life to bring me more joy, to fill my bucket first, so that my bucket overflows and I can easily and effortlessly help everyone else in my life? Well, once again, sorry that I missed you the last couple of weeks, but I'm back and I'm revving to go. I promise you I'll be back with another podcast next week, because I've already recorded it. So come back next week to hear my interview with Amy Schmidt. She's the author of Cannonball, Fearlessly Facing Midlife and Beyond. An interview I'm sure you don't want to miss. Anyway, guys, wishing you the very best week. Until next time, bye for now. Thank you for listening to Menopause Natural Solutions. This podcast contains general information about menopause. It is provided as a guide and it is not intended to replace medical advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please leave a rating and review.